Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Scotland Hill Farms. I am Jessica, if you don't know me already. We are a family of 6, although our 2 oldest are out of the house but live locally, so we see a lot of them. My oldest son works on the farm with us, so he's here quite a bit and eats quite a lot of meals with us. We're just a close family. Our 3rd son is in college right now, so he's only here part-time. He just went back to college last week. And my youngest son is 16 and he's really busy. He's not here a lot of the time between working and school, and he's in a musical, youth groups, all sorts of things. So anyway, I thought I'd just bring you along. I don't really know what this video is going to be. Maybe spend a few days in the life with us. I do have to get a lot of stuff done. Last week I had a bunch of appointments come up that I was not expecting, and so I just got behind on my schedule. So I do need to get a bunch of things done over this week, although right now my week looks clear. Hopefully it'll stay that way. So I'm just hoping that I can get a bunch of stuff accomplished that needs to be done. So I thought I would bring you along. And today, right now, I am making chili for lunch because actually my youngest son has off today. They have a school records day, something like that. They've had a ton of days off of school lately, but anyway, he's home. So it'll be myself, my youngest son, my oldest son who's working here, my husband, and my husband's friend that sometimes works for us in the winter, I believe, will be here as well. So I'll be here for lunch. I want to make a hearty lunch. It's snowy outside. So anyway, that's what I'm doing this morning, and I will bring you along. What I've got going here is, I believe it's 1.5 pounds. We have them packaged in now. So this is ground beef from our own cows. So I took it from the freezer and I put it in the Instapot, but on the saute function. So that's all browned up. And to that, I'm going to add, let's see, Great Northern beans. I pulled these from the pantry. We don't care what kind of beans are in ours. So these were on the shelf, pulled those from the pantry. I'm going to put in those. I'm also going to put a can of home canned black beans in, although I won't be able to do that on camera because they're not going to come out of there very nice, but those are going in. And let's see, if I can do this with one hand. I cut up some celery. So my family actually does not mind lots of vegetables in chili. As long as it has meat in it, they're fine with it. So I try to put in as many veggies as I can. So I put in celery, beans, and then I have some canned sliced carrots that have been in my pantry for a while. So I'm going to put in those, but I don't want to put those in while it's pressure cooking because they're already cooked. So I'll just add those in at the end and let them sit in the pot for like 15 minutes just to get the flavors together. And then I have, these are home canned chili base from this past year. So it's from my tomatoes, peppers, onions, carrots, celery, it's all in there. And all the seasonings are in there as well. So I shouldn't have to season this anymore. I'll taste it at the end and see if it needs any more seasoning. But this already tastes like chili. So I should just have to put it in. It's all homegrown. I don't do any chemicals on any of my gardens. So it's all organic. So I'm going to add those things in, and then I'm going to put the Instant Pot. I don't like just putting on the chili setting because it only does it for half an hour, and I tend to like it more than that. So I might just put it on for an hour, and that should be good. Okay, so after I added all that in, I realized it was only going to make not quite half a pot of chili, which would have been fine, except that I told my mom I'd bring over some meals because her and my dad are both sick. So I'm just adding some extra ingredients now just to make a little more of this chili, bulk it up some. So I'm actually going to add another 2 jars of chili sauce. I added 3 stalks of chopped celery, a can of garbanzo beans, and another can of Great Northern beans. This is some hot Italian sausage that I cooked up the other day, but I decided to use it for this. So it's already cooked. I just chopped it up. I will probably just add that at the end when I add the carrots since it already is cooked. So I got another can of carrots out as well to add, and I'm going to put in some of these onion flakes just for flavor since I didn't cut up any actual onion. So I think that'll make enough, and that'll be good. We'll have leftovers and I can pass some along to my mom and dad. So while my chili is cooking, I'm trying to get a few other things done in my dish rack. I brought up a bunch of canning jars from the basement because this afternoon I want to can some beef stew and just some plain pork because it's really flavorful and tender when it's canned, and then it's easy to do because I can literally open up my can and pour it in a pan and heat it up. If you didn't have, your electricity was out or something, you could actually open it from the can and eat it as is. It's fully cooked. So I like to have these on my pantry shelves, and I'm almost out, and I'm trying to clean things out of my freezers. We're getting a whole pig, I believe. Our pigs are going in to be butchered at the end of February. So I only have 3 or 4 weeks to get some of that cleaned out. So I'm trying to get some things out of my freezer, and this is one of the easiest ways to do that. So I unthawed one large pork roast. I think that one is boneless. And then a really large beef roast. I think it's an English cut beef roast, so I think that one actually has bones. I'm not sure. I haven't opened it up yet, but it's very large. So I'll just use what I can, and we'll see how many jars I get. And that's one of the tasks that I wanted to get off my list because I already had those actually unthawed and I wasn't able to do it the other day, so I do need to get that done. I'll use some potatoes that we grew and store-bought carrots. I haven't put out my carrots yet. I did cover them, but I think they might have already got frozen. I didn't have that many, but I do have to go out and check those and see if they are usable or not. But for today, I had bought some carrots a week ago, I guess, and I'm just going to use those up in my beef roast today. So those jars really had just been sitting empty. They had previously been run through the dishwasher, so I was really just trying to get any dust or anything that was on them off. So some hot soapy water. Because I'm going to be pressure canning, I don't need to sterilize these jars because that will sterilize in the process. So I've got all those jars washed up, and I'm going to move on to the next thing. Okay, so I just had a delivery, and this is kind of exciting. I actually ordered glasses off of Pair Eyewear. Not sponsored or anything. I needed a new pair of glasses, and these ones are really scratched up. I think they're almost 3 years old, so they're not adjusting very well, and they cause marks on the side of my nose, but I can't quite get it right, and the lenses are really scratched, kind of beyond repair. So I ordered a new pair of glasses, and I also ordered the sunglasses that go over them. I believe they're magnetic. So I'm gonna open that and see what we got. Comes very nicely packaged, and these glasses are going to look almost identical to mine because I like mine and I like the shape of my glasses. I just needed new ones. So these are the glasses. Big surprise, they look like what I have, although the ones that I do have on were from an optician, not from Pair Eyewear. So let's see. Look very similar, a little bit different in shape. It's darker here in the middle. It is from my new prescription, and they look pretty clear. They look clear. It wasn't a big change in my prescription, so I didn't expect to notice it too much. I like the way that they look. I like the way that they feel right now. They're very light, actually. Because I had the laser surgery years ago, I used to have really thick glasses. I used to have to get them thinned, but these are really thin. I don't have that much prescription, just enough that I can't go without them. It's actually my right eye. My left eye is pretty much 20/20. And I've tried contacts, and I used to wear contacts years ago for a long time. And then my body kind of goes crazy. No, it really goes crazy. And suddenly I can't wear them. If I wear them for an hour, my eye, it goes all out of focus. It starts burning and it acts like I'm allergic to them. And so I said, forget it. And I just went back to glasses. So that's why I wanted to have sunglasses with them too, because it is a pain to change them back and forth. These ones, I had the transition lenses put in. I did like them. I didn't love the way they looked. They worked well, but now that they're old, it takes a long time. Like if I go out in the sun, it takes a really long time to transition back to clear when I'm inside. And so I end up putting them up here a lot until they're transitioned back, and that's probably not very good for the frames either, because it probably stretches them out, I'm guessing. So yeah, I got these. Let me see if I can see how these sunglasses work. So the sunglasses are almost the exact same pattern, a little less dark in the middle. They have a little more pattern there, and they're just flat. So let's see, these are called the Jessie. I'm just looking here and it's marked. Very fitting, as my name is Jessica. I don't know. Yes, they're both called the Jessie, so they match. So apparently they're made for me. It looks like they have some magnetic squares on them. And yes, they stick right to the glasses. They match identically. And I like that a lot. Yeah, that looks like it'll work. So I like those a lot. This is the shape I like for my face. This is the color I like for my face. And then I believe they just come right off. The only thing I wonder about is having to carry these around with me. But they do give you this really nice case, actually. So this will be nice. The, right? Oh boy, let's not drop them and break them. I think the sunglasses part fits in this there's a little front compartment, and then the glasses fit inside here. So that's actually really nice. That's handy. So yeah, we'll see how these work. Like I said, not sponsored. I did use someone's 10% off. I think it was Mindy from See Mindy Mom coupon code, and it was very easy to order. Really easy. I had to get my script from my doctor, but I think you can also have them, the company, the pair I wear, call your doctor and get your script. I happened to be there, so I picked up a copy of it. I did everything online, and it was really simple. I think I did it a week and a half ago, so not too bad for shipping either. I like them. I just saw in the box that it actually comes with a really cute cleaning cloth as well. I have cleaning solution. I get it from my optometrist. And I have several cleaning cloths, but you can always use more. And I thought that was just really cute. So this was the chili when it was all finished. It made a full pot, and it was really thick, really hearty, perfect for this cold, snowy day. We paired that with some corn chips that I had from the pantry, some sharp cheddar cheese, and for dessert, some of these cream puffs that a friend of ours had brought by. I had some cream left over that I had skimmed off our milk for the week, and I didn't want that to go bad, so I'm going to turn it into some butter. I put it in my blender for a few minutes until you can see the butter float to the top. So it has the buttermilk around it. I just pour off the buttermilk. I take the butter and I rinse it under cold water until the water runs clear, and you're just left with the butter solids. I do put some salt on this, as that's the way we just like it. It's hard to do this with one hand holding the camera, but I do take that and I mix the salt all around to well incorporate it with that butter, and we just use that on some crackers. I am moving on to my canning project for the week. I wanted to can up 7 quarts of beef stew and also some pork roast. So I'm cutting up some potatoes and carrots and putting in the meat to get ready for the canner. Okay, so I just got back. I ran a few meals over to my mom and dad who are not feeling well. Dropped those off with them. I've got my electric pressure cooker going. It was set for 90 minutes. That has the pork in it. And the noise you hear in the background is my robot vacuum, which, I mean, it definitely doesn't do a perfect job, but it'll save me from sweeping for now. So I've got that running in the background. That pressure cooker is going. I grabbed some hot dogs from the freezer and some hot dog rolls that I had made a while ago in the freezer, so I'm hoping those are okay. I'm not sure, they might be freezer burned. This was some vegan lasagna that I had frozen. It does have a little ice. We'll see how good that is. I don't know. And then this pressure cooker is waiting to go on because I can't just leave this one. Once it goes on, I have to bring it up to pressure, and I have to make sure it maintains pressure to seal the jars. This one, once it's set, I can leave it and go, which is fantastic, but it is smaller. It will only do 4-quart jars at one time, or I don't know if it's 5 or 6 pint jars. And since I had a full canner load of 7-quart jars, I'm going to do this in here. I will put that on when I get back in because I'm getting ready to go out to do chores. So I've got my boots ready and my waterproof pants, which is great because I can just hose them down when I'm done. I'm not going to take you out for chores. You guys have been out there with me recently, but it'll probably take me 30 or 35 minutes. And hopefully I have no new calves. So I just came back in from doing chores. I gotta wash up these eggs. Our chickens are only giving us, depending on how cold it is, anywhere from 2 to 4 eggs a day probably. So this is actually a couple days worth of eggs, and they're fine if you leave them as long as they're not washed off. So they've been outside in the shop. Now I'm just washing them off, and then they'll have to go in the fridge. I need to clean my sink out. But yeah, they're not giving us many eggs. They're on their way out. We get a new batch of chickens sometime in March, so I'm just trying to make these last. I don't have to get any eggs at the store because I'm not doing that. I'm in the middle of a pantry challenge, so I'm hoping these chickens can just last at least through February, so I don't have to get any eggs. Well, it is the next morning and I got my canning all done. I unfortunately had 2 jars that didn't seal. One of them was a pork and one was a beef stew, which stinks, but we will just use the pork and the beef stew this week. My family will be happy with that. I think probably the reason it didn't seal, so I'm kind of surprised more didn't, is that fat content that was in there. So yeah, I just won't use that type of roast to can anymore. Maybe I'll just use a rump roast or something I know that is a little bit leaner. The pork, it came out great, but I totally forgot that the last time I did it, I didn't actually add water to the jars. I added the salt and let the pork create its own juice. So what I found is this actually siphoned out a lot because I had the water filled up kind of to here to the rim, and obviously it's a lot less. So I think having that extra liquid caused siphoning. So again, I'm kind of surprised that more of these did not fail, but these are actually all nice and tight. The pork that I had to keep out because it didn't seal, I did taste it. It tastes wonderful, and that was just salt on it. I'm actually going to can up more of these pork roasts because I know I have a few in the freezer, and like I said, I want to get them out of the freezer so that I have room for the new pork coming in. So now I'll just take these down in my basement. These jars have all been washed off. I know meat doesn't look the prettiest in a jar, but it does really taste very good. And you can see all the carrots and potatoes and meat in that. And of course, it created its broth. I did label everything so I would know what it was because it's hard to tell after a while. So here's the calf born from the cow that I showed you in labor last night. She had it only about an hour later. And guess what? Another new one was just born. This is a really big calf. So I just came back in from the garage in my freezer, and now my hands are frozen. But I just wanted to make one trip out there and get some things that I knew I wanted to use up in the next couple of days. So I freeze leftover mashed potatoes sometimes, and this is something that I can have. Also some stuffing. It's gluten-free and vegan. These are some green beans. These were actually frozen quite a while ago, and I forgot about them. They were in the back of the freezer, so I'm going to unthaw those, make sure that they taste right. We'll have them for a supper, hopefully. This is some of that vegan cream cheese. I make a big batch of it, and then I cut it up, and it unfreezes just fine, so I don't have to make it all the time. I have out, I believe these are 1.5 pounds of hamburger. We're gonna make some cheeseburger salads, I believe, for lunch. I got out a block of prepared squash that I had done from another time. Usually when I cook squash, I cook 3 or 4 at a time and then use what I want from it and stick the rest in the freezer. It makes it really nice and easy to use later. And then I did get out one of these Beyond Burgers that was in the freezer for my cheeseburger salad. So I am down in my soap studio now. I didn't film while I was making this because it can seize up and it's pretty tricky. So this is lavender lemongrass soap. These are the soap molds it goes in, and then it will be cut into 5-ounce bars. And it smells heavenly down here right now. So that'll have to stay in the soap molds for at least 24 to 48 hours before I can take it out and it's set up. Right now it's still wet. And that'll change into kind of a purple and cream color. I run a business from my home called Scotland Hill Soaps. I started this business in 2020, just like everyone else. Got a little bored because a certain pandemic hit. And I started making products. I actually had made some products before just because I had a lot of allergies and I couldn't use a lot of things on my skin. And lo and behold, people started wanting what I was making for myself. So it kind of just naturally turned into a business. So on this day, after I had poured my lavender lemongrass soap, I gathered all the things that I needed to put in order together in order to restock one of the shops that I'm in. So I am currently online selling on Etsy, and if anyone is interested, I'll go ahead and put my link for my shop down below in the description. But I also sell at 3 local stores in my town. It's been going very well. I had a very busy Christmas season this year, and word is getting out, and I'm getting more and more orders. So right now I just need to get all my stuff entered into the computer so I can make a stock list and know what I am putting in stock into the store. Okay, so I am going to do a job that I have been putting off. It's not hard. I just don't like to do it. I don't know. It's not one of my favorite jobs. We have a large house and lots of floor space. The only carpet that I have is in the living room. So everything else is either tile or hardwood or laminate. And we have 2 dogs in the house. And we live on a farm where we just got a couple of feet of snow, and then after that, a couple of inches of rain. So outside is complete mud right now. And with the farm and everyone coming in and out for meals, it inevitably gets really dirty. And I haven't wanted to clean it. So I don't think you're probably going to be able to see how dirty the floor is, but it's pretty gross. I do sweep it all the time, every day pretty much, but it just really needed a deep clean. So what I got a couple of months ago, I don't know, it was one of those cyber deals, so it was a lot of money off, is this Bissell Crosswave. It's a all-inclusive floor cleaner, so it actually vacuums everything up as it mops, and it also has a steam function, which is really nice. And I'm always really disgusted by the water that comes up. I usually do actually sweep before, somewhat, because we just have a lot of dirt and dog hair. And although it says it can pick it up, and it does, I just don't want wear and tear on the machine as much. So today, though, I did not sweep before. So we'll see how it goes. And I'll let you take a look at how it works. I've been pleased with it so far. Like I said, it's not hard. It's just, I don't know, not one of my favorite jobs. So that job is done. It didn't kill me. It did take probably 45 minutes from start to finish. That's being generous. Also, I had to move the camera around. And I did have spots that I went over a lot because there was stuff stuck to the ground from cooking, probably, or my kids dripping stuff. So that did take a little bit longer, but I did 2 bathrooms, a laundry room, a den, my kitchen, and my dining room. So not too bad. The cleanup isn't too bad. It's actually a self-cleaning. So let me show you. So you do have to empty out the dirty water, and the dirty water bin goes right there, but I took it out because I like to let it dry so it doesn't smell. But it's on that little self-cleaning, this is a little docking station. And when you put it on there, this is the brush and the cover that I took off, but those are usually there. And when you put it on there, there's this little button, and as long as there's clean water in the back, it'll run through a self-cleaning station. I mean, it doesn't get it all the way clean, but it takes out a lot. And I'm grateful for it. Not sponsored. So this is what the soap looks like when it comes out of the mold. It's solid, it's slightly sticky, but it will dry. And this is my soap cutter. It has like a guitar string wire. Oh, that's a really pretty swirl. I love that. Love it. So pleased with how this one turned out. So these will go on a curing rack with just some space all around, and they have to cure for at least 4 weeks. That's minimum. So I really have to plan ahead when I'm making soap and keep it in stock. You can see all the swirls are just a little bit different. That one kind of looks like frog legs. And so I have 2 loaves that I made today, and each one gives 14 bars, usually with a little bit of an end part left over that I give away as samples. So I'll have 28 bars of soap in total. I'll cure them for 4 weeks, and then that just curing it makes the water evaporate out of them. So then they become really hard. So actually the longer they cure, the harder, longer lasting soap bar you get. I love how each one's different though. So different even from front to back. And then this will be my end sample piece. So it actually gets 2, which is good because actually at the end, that's what happens sometimes is the swirl doesn't go all the way through, but the fragrance is still there. This is how they look when they're all cut up, and so you see I put space in between the bars so the air can get all the way around them and cure them down. And then these are little end pieces that will be samples. I will actually put my link for my Etsy shop down below if anyone's curious to look at it. Right now it'll say that lavender lemongrass is out of stock because I didn't plan all this time and they sold really well over Christmas. So they're actually out of stock right now, but these will be up in 4 weeks. And I think today is the 3rd of February. I made some of this dough. It's supposed to be, it's sourdough. I let it ferment overnight. And it's supposed to make like hard pretzels. I can make soft pretzels, but they don't last that long. And my family really likes like sourdough hard pretzels, so I'm gonna see if this will work. So this is the dough, and I have to boil it in some water and bake them. So I'll let you know how it turns out. I don't know. This is how they look after I boiled them. You're supposed to make a long skinny snake and then twist them around, but when you put them in the water, they pretty much come untwisted. I did try to do one just straight, so I don't know. But this is before they're baked. I don't really care if they're ugly. They'll taste the same. Hopefully they turn into hard pretzels. We'll see. And this is how they turned out. I left them in, I don't know, 3 or 4 times what it called for in the recipe because it just looked like they were going to be a soft pretzel, which are good, but I just really wanted a hard pretzel. So these are pretty crunchy. We've tried some. They're good. I did end up brushing some melted ghee over the top and then putting salt because the salt just wasn't sticking to the pretzels and they did need salt. So we'll see how these go over. I like them and I was really wanting something crunchy, so they work for me.